Hi, I'm Edward Tace, President of the Firefighters Association of the State of New York. The continuing focus of our association is recruiting and educating the future. Volunteer firefighters play a crucial role in the safeguarding of 85% of New York State's communities. Not only do we save lives and property, we also save the state billions of dollars. Currently, volunteer firefighters save taxpayers $3.8 billion in salaries and benefits alone. Now imagine a future without us. For an all-career fire service, we'd need an additional 31,000 firefighters. That would cost $4.7 billion annually, and there would be a one-time cost of $8.2 billion to acquire existing stations, vehicles, and equipment.
There's a dramatic need for volunteer firefighters, and it's growing every day. Unfortunately, as call counts increase, New York's volunteer force is shrinking. 20 years ago, there were about 120,000 volunteer firefighters across the state. Today, that number has fallen to under 80,000. Increasingly, volunteer firefighters are being asked to help with major emergencies across the state. To adequately protect our neighbors, our friends, and our families, we need to connect with our communities. We need to educate them on the role we play and the value we bring so that we can effectively recruit the next generation of volunteers and EMS personnel. Even though some folks may be hesitant to join us, we need to get the word out that anyone can become a volunteer firefighter or EMS provider. We need to inform people that there are dozens of important roles they can fill, even if they do not want to be on the end of a hose line. We also need to make sure that every current volunteer understands that their most important job is to find the person who can occupy their seat when they are unable to do it anymore. That is the only way we will continue to keep our communities safe. Because at the end of the day, calling 911 and having no one show up is simply not an option. To attract new members, volunteer fire departments must employ creative solutions, and some already are. You're about to hear from 3 departments across New York State that have embraced recruiting and are using innovative strategies to increase their volunteers and grow their departments. Thanks to a multi-year, 4-step approach to recruitment and retention, Snyder has onboarded 30 new members over the last year, versus their prior annual average of just 2.
My name is Brent Hudson. My role is the First Assistant Chief.
My name is Trish Hudson, and I am a firefighter, an EMT, and also a fire district commissioner.
A group of us were looking forward. We were taking a look at data about what was our call volume, who was coming to calls, the participation, and we realized that looking out into the future, we had to do something to start bringing more younger members in, more members who would be active as well. So the decision was made to get a group together, move forward with how do we best approach this.
So the first phase we did is we conducted a series of surveys with our members, and those surveys gave us some really good insight to what our current members were thinking and feeling. After we did the surveys, we created a communication plan, and simple things like creating a company email platform using Google. It sounds so simple, but we didn't have one. That allowed us to communicate. From there, we moved into our third phase, which was really all around creating a recruitment strategy, as well as an event strategy. And from there, we just decided every event was a recruitment event. It doesn't matter what it is, even on calls. Whenever we're interfacing with the public, social media or in person, it's a recruitment event.
The Duty Shift program has helped retention by giving members an option. It's the option to stick with the traditional or the percentage way, or going to the Duty Shift program. By doing that, for the current members, by doing that, the Duty Shift program might fit better into their lifestyle, might fit better into their schedules. Whether they have kids, they have a job that works different hours, you're giving them that option as to what fits best into their lifestyle. The same thing with new members. New members are coming in, and we have to look at differences now and the way recruitment was done 30 years ago when I joined. Life is different. The way we communicate is different. The way we work is different. All of these differences we have to take into account. And the duty shift program, it lets us address some of those differences.
I am on duty shift, so that means instead of being on call 24/7, having to make a certain percentage of calls every year, I do standby hours. Helps with outside of here with wife and kids. Come here when I'm available, instead of having to just run out the door anytime the pager goes off.
As the number of volunteer firefighters continues to decline across the state, more and more departments are offering bunk-in programs for college students to enhance their response capabilities. Ellesmere Fire Department is all volunteer, with more than 75 members who answer 400 to 500 calls a year. They started their bunk-in program in 2018. Let's take a look at their story.
So I was actually on our company board of directors at the time, and the opportunity to acquire a building immediately next door to our firehouse became available. Our company board of directors looked at that and saw an opportunity there, recognizing that daytime calls, whether it's in Ellesmere or across the state, are a problem with daytime response. We're all volunteer. Most of us have full-time jobs. And in order to supplement the workforce that leaves their jobs and comes and helps here on a daily basis, we thought having a steady, constant stream of college-aged, able-bodied firefighters who are already Firefighter 1 trained would be a great thing. So the fire company actually invested its own money, acquired the building, and then went through the process of developing a bunk-in program in conjunction with our neighbors at Delmar Bethlehem EMS to really bolster both fire and EMS in the town and make this thing a reality.
And some other departments around the state have tried this, and we joined with them, realizing that we could help people advance their education, reduce their cost of living, and also serve our community. So it's a great partnership, and it allows us to grow with our community's needs.
The benefits of the program, one is the bunked-in program. So we basically get a rent-free apartment for volunteering 18 hours a week, which isn't too bad because it's during the nighttime. So unless we get a call, we're able to study. They're very flexible with students, which is nice because you don't know when tests and stuff are coming up. So it provides like a certain relief.
So believe it or not, I'm a 4th generation in the fire service. My great-grandfather volunteered out in Long Island way back when. My grandfather volunteered for West Hurley, and now my father and I are all volunteers. And then my mother is now a retired City of Kingston professional firefighter. So it's just kind of in the family thing, and you know, I just feel like I got to pick up where they left off and continue it going on, and hopefully someday my kids do the same thing.
When FASNY talks about the need to recruit from underserved populations, there's no better example than the Nassau County Junior Firefighters Association. For the first time, their 6-person board is entirely female.
My name is Kira Cozy. So I grew up in the firehouse, and I've always felt that it was a family and you were always included and you always had a lot of fun. And so just based on my past experience, I thought that I could try it even if I might not want to pursue it, and I ended up loving it. I thought that this was a male-dominated field and it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be here, but I wanted it to be known that it's okay to be here, and I want other young ladies to feel comfortable being here. We knew that there were a lot of girls running for positions this time, but when we realized that it was all of us sitting up there, we kind of just looked around at each other and smiled and said, hey, this is a huge moment for us. And I think that also, not only hosting the trainings, but getting to participate in them, you know, you don't see many 17-year-olds jumping out of 2-story buildings every day, and I think that's just a lot of fun.
Is being a firefighter in the future?
Yes, absolutely.
FASNY is committed to offering a wide range of dynamic support, from recruitment resources to educational initiatives. We help grow and train volunteer fire departments and volunteer firefighters across New York. Today's fires burn hotter and faster. The materials in our homes and the products we buy are different, and we know much more about toxic exposures to first responders. Continuing education helps firefighters reinforce their skills, stay current, and complete their mission effectively. Throughout the year, FASNY offers webinars, online training, and educational programs. The EMS seminar in Montour Falls, the annual EMS conference on Long Island, and the FASNY training weekend in Oriskany are all examples of what is available to FASNY members. As part of our efforts to bolster the ranks of the volunteer fire service, we continue to promote the Fire in You and Recruit New York campaigns. FASNY is also a sponsor of Tommy D'Angelo Racing in the Dirt Car Series. Our goal is to get more people joining the volunteer fire service and helping their communities. FASNY staffs a table at the races, supported by the FASNY 43 recruitment vehicle. Later this summer, our Recruitment and Retention Committee will have a booth at the Great New York State Fair. This event draws more than 100,000 people a day. In addition, FASNY plans to have a presence at county fairs around the state. For young people, there's Camp Fahrenheit 516 in Old Bethpage. Designed to ignite a lifelong passion for firefighting, the camp gives 14 to 17-year-olds first-hand experience and intensive training. Our annual Youth Days also welcome dozens of junior firefighters, explorers, and Rams who gather for hands-on experience and a little competition each year. To help recruit the next generation of first responders, FASNY offers tuition reimbursement through our FASNY Help program, as well as the Gerard J. Buckenmeyer Memorial FASNY Volunteer Scholarship.
As we just saw, there's a lot we can do and need to do to make the volunteer fire service in New York State vigorous and sustainable. And there are many different ways we can do it. But we can't reach our goals and give people of New York State the service and the response they need and deserve without your participation. It's everybody's responsibility. So let's all get fired up and go out and recruit our future.